yeah, I had red flagging because our brother was telling us he didn't want to be looking after the kids, and suddenly he wants to look after three. Okay, and she got Crohn's as well. So I said, sir, it's a lot to take on. Are you sure you want to take this on? Just saying, you know, you want to take this on. So let's play a little clip, and then we'll get the conversation going as well.
Yeah.
You could be the soft one.
When Marc said that, it just hit me in a way that, I don't know. I looked at him and at that moment in a whole different light. I could feel his protective energy around me, and I just felt.
I can feel his protective energy around me. And so we're going to get your little conversation going with this. Marc Anthony, is he full of bullcrap, or is this generally a connection with Jeffrey? And if it is a genuine connection with Jeffrey, what is it that he sees in Jeffrey? You know, what is it that he's attracted to? What's taken him closer to Jeffrey? You know, I mean, he lips her with some passion. You know what I mean? So I want to know what you guys' thoughts are on Marc Anthony and Jeffrey's date. Tell me what you noticed. Tell me what you saw. Tell me what you were observing from this situation. Lorraine, talk to me. Marc Anthony with Jeffrey. Wagwan for the team.
Yeah, Mark. First of all, I know I've said it 1,000 times, but that man is beautiful. Okay, he's so beautiful. Anyway, I think give credit where credit is due. That was a very difficult conversation. Crohn's is not a joke for all people that know about it. So you know, for her to kind of open up to him, maybe feel safe to open up to him, I was kind of surprised. I thought she might have had that kind of moment with Andre and not with Marc Anthony. So I don't know if she's going to tell everybody, but it was interesting that she said to him first. He was very present, eye contact, kind of, you know, good body language and all of that. I'm not sure if it's because he was on the chopping block and women were kind of questioning his intention or lack thereof. So he was making an effort to be present in this conversation. Needless to say, they have a lot of chemistry. So I don't feel like it's not as forced, because he does find her attractive. He mentioned her kind of feminine aura, and I think that's what he's drawn to. I feel like he likes the idea of Jeffrey. He likes what she represents. That kind of, she's a woman. I don't know how to explain it, but she just has that flair about her, and I think he's drawn to that. He is hardly going to be able to sustain or support her with 3 children. So I highly doubt that he's going to be able to support her again with the physical condition that she has. So it's just, this is not going to go anywhere again. I think he likes the idea of her. I think he's attracted to her. She's attracted to him, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in terms of like a long-term sustainable relationship, it's not going to happen. And I think that Jeffrey knows that deep down. I think she's going to end up with Andre, if I'm being completely honest. Like, they're going to be at the end together. But I think she's attracted to Marc. He's a beautiful man. But he's not ready for anything serious right now. And it shows the disparity in the conversation he was having with her and Mercedes. And I was like, yeah, this with Mercedes, this is you. That wasn't you. You were trying to be something that you're not with Jeffrey, because you feel like that's what she needs from you, and you think that that's what you need to present as.
Good pass. I hear that, Lorraine. Thank you. JR, what's your thoughts? What are you telling me? What is it about Marc Anthony? What's he seen in Jeffrey? Jeffrey?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm stumped. I don't see it. But whatever it is, it's obviously keeping him interested enough to the point where he considers her and Mercedes up there in his connections. You know, quite a few of the ladies are turned off by Marc Anthony at this point. But do I think that it's going to work with Jeffrey and Marc Anthony? I don't see it. Just don't get it. But fair play. I mean, the show is about having more than one connection at this point. I just think that the kissing part, that's where he's going to mess up. Because if people are talking about Tony being a player and how much they hate players and all this other stuff, right? Marc Anthony went straight from his date where he kissed Jefferi and went straight to Mercedes on that date, and he kissed her even more than he kissed Jefferi. And that's because, in my opinion, he's feeling Mercedes more than he's feeling Jefferi. So the Crohn's thing is sad. You know, it's something that will take a lot of compassion and understanding. At this point, do I think that he is the type of person that's going to be supportive enough to want to be like a, you know, not a carer, but, you know, have to have to bear that in mind, that that's a condition that she's going to go through? I have no idea, but I just think that at this point, I don't see why she's so high up on his list. I think she does like him genuinely, but even then, I'm not too sure how much she likes him, because she says that she was thinking about Andre the whole time he was gone. She has a connection with Blue as well. She had a connection with DeMario, and she's also got Marc Anthony. So I think she's kind of got a lot of connections and not necessarily focusing on one at this point. Whichever one pisses her off or ticks her off, then they're out. I don't think she'll give them the Blake treatment where she's going in on them. But for Marc Anthony specifically, there is something there, but I just don't see it.
I hear you on that, and thank you for being honest. You have no clue as to why she like this. Okay, go for it, Sean. You want to say?
Yeah, I think that he's attracted to her. He did, you know, he mentioned it, and I think I forgot who it was. I think it was Sammy or somebody a couple of episodes ago. They mentioned that she was feminine, and we debated her. But I guess Marc Anthony feels like she's feminine. I don't feel like she's feminine, but to me, it's a veneer of femininity, but I don't feel like that's maybe it was you, C-Way, that said it. Yeah, I think it was you. But nevertheless, he likes her. He's into her. He's attracted to her. But I think it's all cap. Because even when she told him she had Crohn's, and I really do feel that way, you know, I feel bad for her in that scenario. He didn't know what it was. And he just went along with the conversation. So that to me just showed me that if I'm genuinely interested in you, and you tell me you open up to me and you tell me you have a sickness or an illness, and I don't know what that is, and I really care, and I'm developing a connection with you, I'm going to ask you, oh, tell me a little bit more about that. He just went along like, oh, okay, you know. It's like, bro, it seemed like he just is leveraging her for the process. And no, they didn't edit it out when in Rome, because he said it in his confessional that he didn't know what it was. He had no clue. And then she ultimately wound up telling him exactly what it was, right? You know, she explained to him and her kids, and, you know, he asked a nice question, oh, how does that impact your kids? But I don't see his connection. And if you know, I don't know if we talked about before I joined, but you compare the kiss he had with Jefferi versus the kiss that he had with Mercedes. Yeah, there was passion there. That Jefferi kiss was like, you're attractive, and I'm just, you know, I need enough connections. And then part of us just has to realize that this is part of the show, right? There's going to be people that don't necessarily have the tightest connections, but you need to be, you know, having some people that like you so you don't get voted off the show. So I think that, I found that to be the case with them. I think it's very surface, and I think that it's going to fizzle at the end very similar to how the Jason and Liz connection fizzled, because I think they're at two different stages in life. And 3 kids, and now, you know, a debilitating disease that, you know, could be problematic, that you don't know what the outcome is going to be. Entering into the relationship is different if something develops while we're together, and then we can learn to work through it. But at the very early onset, you got all these things. It's going to be, you know, I might have to just respectfully, you know, I'm going to moonwalk out of the situation. And I think that's what I see Marc Anthony doing. He's playing the game. And just lastly, you know, I know JR has all the fire, but I got a little bit of fire for Jefferi. When she said that if you see, that's why I'm so peaceful, that's it, because of my illness. I guess we must have missed the piece. They must have edited out all the piece, because I don't see it. So I'm sorry, ma'am. I hope, you know, I know the Crohn's is nothing to play with, and I'm not joking about your illness at all. But the piece, I call cap on that piece. The same way I call cap on him genuinely be interested in her and wanting to see a future with her, I call cap on her saying, that's why I'm so peaceful. No, you're a hellion, ma'am. You are a hellion. You know, rightfully so, I guess, if Blake is the, you know, the next coming of Beelzebub himself. So I guess that's what Blake is. So that's what he's bringing out of all the ladies. But I haven't seen peace yet. And I'm
done. Sam, go for it. You're like finishing me.
GR and Sean, y'all are just the type of men that y'all are just eating from like the entrance of the club. But then if she's in front of you, you all love her. You all love her. I was telling y'all 2 weeks ago, all those men are going to fall for Jefferi because of the type of energy that she has. And y'all swore I was lying.
No.
I came here tonight just to remind you that I was correct. And it was important for me to do it. Listen, I think Marc Anthony is not serious. I don't think Jefferi is serious either. Do I think that he is attracted to her? Yes. Do I think that it may lead to a serious relationship? Honestly, no. Because when reality kicks in, I don't think that Marc Anthony is going to be willing to deal with the baggage. I don't like to call it baggage because children are not baggage, but what comes with being with Jefferi. But do I think that Jefferi can find a husband in those men? Yeah, if she wants to, but she don't want to. That's why she's going for Marc Anthony. And y'all can say all y'all want to say, but if that pretty lady come in front of you and tell you that's why I'm so hard the way I am, you know, in French we say demoiselle en détresse, I need your help. Y'all can come and take all your bad Superman cap and want to be the man for her. Until she's going to show you her attitude and not going to be with her. So, yeah, that was it for me.
I just want to clarify something really quick. Look, the answer can't always be if we calling somebody's behavior out, oh, we want her, or, you know, we could never get a look from her, you know, because we could say the same thing about the men that you guys don't like, and that's not the answer. The answer is I see some things that are very surface level, and I also see what I perceive to be some phoniness. So it doesn't stand out. I don't like it. Now, doesn't mean that she's the worst person in the world, but for me, those are red flags, and I would not entertain her at all. Never in life. I wouldn't.
On a more serious matter, because y'all know I'm very playful, a healthy man that wants to be in a healthy relationship should not be attracted by what Jefferi has to offer based on her personality. But we're not dealing with healthy people. Just small reminder.
Yeah, but you just said it yourself. People. Like a guy who is actually looking for a serious relationship, who is, you know, doesn't want someone who's going to be problematic. They're not going to choose that the option that Jefferi presents. Like, so,
you know,
like,
it's one thing.
So that's not no shade. That's not no shade. the fact is there are some guys that would actually gravitate to that. And if that's Marc Anthony's flavor, then that's cool. But then why does he like Mercedes, who is the complete opposite? And for me, I see a better connection with Mercedes, a better compatibility with Mercedes and Marc Anthony than I do with Jeffrey and Marc Anthony. So that's all it is. It's not no beef. I don't hate her. Don't know her.
I'm just playful. I'm just playful. But I do not think
it wasn't to you. It was like also the crowd, the audience as well.
I used to agree with you until I saw the date between Mercedes and Marc Anthony, and I was like, you just want to, anyway. Same for her anyway. So, but we're going to get there.
I love the opinions. I ain't even mad at it. I love the opinions. Go for it, Seaway. Oh, Seaway and Black.
Go ahead, go see.
Loving the smoke.
If you're quick for it, you can go ahead because I'm going to derail.
I don't derail.
I just want to say this. I want to say that the interaction I saw between Marc Anthony and Jeffrey, to me, I think Jeffrey is looking at Marc Anthony with her eyes and not her heart. I think that the things that he says, I think she thinks everything he says is golden. Him mentioning the kids should not give her a moment to say, oh my God, I can't believe you mentioned the kids. That's not where it's at. Okay. I haven't heard any type of conversation between the two of them that talks about the future. I haven't heard anything of any depth when it comes to Marc Anthony in his conversation with her. I did notice that there was a whole different Marc Anthony with Jeffrey than it was with Mercedes. With Jeffrey, Marc Anthony had the button up on. He's trying to look spiffy for her because he sees, okay, she's this type of woman. He had put forth a little bit more effort with her. With Mercedes will accept him for who he is. So he comes with just a t-shirt and jeans on, like he just came from the grocery store. And this is a date he's going on with her. So it shows how comfortable he is with Mercedes versus how he has to kind of put on a little front for Jeffrey. So I noticed that. So the thing between him and Jeffrey, I think that'll be short-lived. I think they're both attracted to each other. I think they should just call it what it is. Hey, I want you, you want me. Let's do the grown thing. Let's get this out of the way and be moving on. But Jeffrey has kids she has to think about. He has no experience with kids. He even said it himself. Never dated a woman with kids. He doesn't have any kids. He don't know how to handle the situation. That's a lot to put a man into. Not one kid, but three. So I think, I think Jeffrey should be honest with herself about how she sees Marc Anthony. And I think Marc Anthony's being honest with himself about how he sees Mercedes and move accordingly. You got to see what.
Thanks, Tori. I guess the small derailment is with my point. I just want JR, I just want you to think about what about Jeffrey bothers you so bad. I just want to know because I've never seen this energy from you. And when you talk about Jeffrey, it tickles my whole entire spirit. Like she really seems to get under your skin. And I just want you to share with us and me what she's reminding you of. I just want you to think about that while I get to my other point, because I want you to think about that. But I just want to say Jeffrey is very, very manipulative. And I want people to be very discerning about what she's doing. As a person with an autoimmune disease, which I haven't even talked about on this channel, and it affects my life on a day-to-day basis. Very not similar to Crohn's disease, but an autoimmune disease nonetheless. That would not be something that I bring up in that context. She did that literally to invoke sympathy in a very manipulative way. And Marc Anthony's response was what anybody's response would be when someone says something that's very inappropriate. And I'm going to just say it as a person who suffers from an autoimmune disease that affects my life. I literally cannot be stressed out by these Negroes or these hoes. It's very similar. If people stress me out, I have to move them out of my life because they will cause an actual reaction in my body. So I feel her 100%. That is still not something that I would be bringing up on a date with somebody to invoke sympathy, because I'm